A to the K.
To the K.
To the K. Hello, welcome to the A to the K Wrestling Show, where we're fortunate enough to welcome back to the show the one and only Griff Garrison. Griff, thanks for taking the time, man.
What's up, man? Yeah, thanks for having me back, guys.
No, thanks for being here. So obviously, the first time we had you on the show, we had to ask who the fuck is Griff Garrison, but you've been on the show before, so now we just want to know how the fuck is Griff Garrison?
Oh, man, I'm doing good. I'm actually at the Myrtle Beach, South Carolina right now, enjoying some time away. So it's been fun. I've been really good. Hope you guys have been too.
Yeah, absolutely. I think when we spoke last time, it was obviously in the middle of like pandemics and everything, so it's nice to be, the world get back to normal.
Different world now, or a bit more back to normal anyway.
For real, finally, yeah.
But no, it's been I believe about 18 months since we first spoke to you. So we note firstly that I think it was as of the 12th of July, it'll be your 1 year anniversary of officially being All Elite. So obviously, first time we spoke to you, you were working for AEW, but you hadn't actually been signed and hadn't had the All Elite graphic. So just wondered if you could sort of tell us a little bit about how it felt to sort of get signed after this, obviously the stellar work you put in.
It was relieving, man. It was probably the best feeling I've ever had. Just being able to, because for me that's like living out a dream. I've always wanted to be signed to a big time professional wrestling company, and to be able to do that I was 23 then, 24 now, to be able to do that at such a young age, it really meant a lot. Like seeing that graphic and seeing not only the graphic, but seeing like all the support that came with the comments on Twitter, Instagram, and everything that was just as good as actually signing, because people support all their support and love that they showed me, that meant a lot to me too. So
yeah, absolutely. So obviously since you signed, you're now one half of the Varsity Blonds, obviously a bit of a call back to the Hollywood Blonds. I'm just wondering, like, because I don't think when we spoke to you last time, I don't think you guys had the name and stuff yet. So was, the Varsity Blonds, that's something you guys pitched to Tony? Did Tony pitch it to you guys? How did that kind of happen?
I think, well, it all just kind of fit together. I think Tony he kind of came up with the Varsity Blonds, like the name. We kind of had the athlete gimmick going before that. Bryan was a lacrosse player, and then we found Julia, so we all just kind of meshed well together, and we all kind of got along, and our gimmicks really just kind of meshed together. And then we were like, well, Bryan's dad was one half of the Hollywood Blonds, so why not just kind of do a homage to him, and be the Varsity Blonds, So I mean, it kind of just all together, but I think who originally came up with the name was Tony. It was like his.
Oh, nice.
Awesome. So, how long do you think it'll be before, you shave off your hair and become Stone Cold Griff Garrison?
I mean, my God, man. I hate the hot weather, and it's killing me down here, so it could be sooner rather than later. I mean, like a year, man. I've this is the first time all trip I think I've had it down for this interview. I've been having it up in a high button like the whole trip. So I'm just like, geez, could be coming sooner than you think. I actually, believe it or not, I look much younger with this hair too. I was actually looking at pictures of myself the other day when I had short hair, and I was like 18 or 19, and I looked so much older than I do now. It's pretty insane. But I feel like if I cut it now, I'd look like a 32-year-old grown, like just freaking, But yeah, it could be sooner rather than later, because it is too hot for this crap. Way too hot.
Yeah, it'd be a shame to see the hair go, but who knows? Maybe that'll be a bit of a change of character for you as well. But obviously, one of your big storylines that you've been involved in, you mentioned Julia before, was obviously the stuff with Julia and the House of Black. And can you tell us how that storyline kind of came about?
I think I can't remember where we were. I think we were somewhere up north, and I think Bryan came to me and was like, "Hey, I've heard something. We might be doing something with Malachi." And I was like, "Well, that's cool, but in wrestling, you don't really want to believe something is happening until you do it. Like, even with me, like I don't believe I'm about to wrestle this person until I walk out of the curtain. So I'm just like, okay, well, that's cool. I hope that happens and stuff." And then eventually we did the spot. I think it was in New Jersey, where he spit in the face of Julia. Which I can't complain, because it led to probably the coolest moment of my career thus far, was being able to wrestle him one-on-one on primetime television in my hometown at the Greensboro Coliseum, just because I went to every wrestling show that there was at the Greensboro Coliseum when I was a kid, and just to be able to go back and have a singles match on national television against him in front of all my family and friends, that was probably the coolest moment of my career. So I guess I have him to thank for that. And then we just kept going, and now all of a sudden you saw Double or Nothing. Julia's with them. I think that's a good move for her, man. I think that's I think that fits her. Honestly, I mean, yeah, she was a cheerleader, but I think that fits her. Knowing the real Julia Hart, I think that gimmick fits her, and I'm happy for her.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting seeing a somewhat darker side of it, I suppose, in that character way.
Right. No, she's got it in her to be a really successful, I'll say, heel. She got it in her to be a really successful heel. So, I'm proud of her. So she's doing her thing, and she's doing good.
That's awesome. This question may sort of go slightly into spoiler territory, so I appreciate you you may not want to answer it or may not be able to fully answer it, but with everything we've seen with the Varsity Blonds, are we going to see sort of the Varsity Blonds sticking together for a while, or we maybe have some potential of seeing a reunion with Marcus Kross, who obviously you've worked with outside of AEW? Or
right. Let's see. Yeah, I can answer that, but I probably can't get too far into depth with that, obviously. But
no, I can understand. Yeah.
I don't know if you guys saw the match we had not too long ago with Butcher and Blade. He super kicked me in the face. Cost us the match on Elevation. It's a rough road for us right now, but I guess we'll see. I would love to team back up with Marcus, though. I think I love Bryan. I think he's a great dude. I think he's a great talent, but I think I do have more chemistry with Marcus, and that's not a hit on Bryan. It's just because I grew up wrestling on the trampoline with him for the last 15 years. I would always go in and watch wrestling, and we'd wrestle each other on the trampoline for years and years when we were in middle school, high school, even college. Like we were dorks, man. But I'd love to keep up this Varsity Blonde thing and maybe win tag titles at AEW tag team titles with Bryan, or if Marcus were to get signed or, impress people enough on Dark, I would love to run it back with Master Machine.
Yeah, honestly, I mean, like, certainly from our perspective, it'd be amazing to see you guys to go up for the titles, because obviously we've seen the Varsity Blondes sort of build up from where they are. I think having a title run would be amazing, to be fair.
That would be sweet. I would love to. I think gold would go good with our hair too, like the gold titles, the gold hair.
To be fair, yeah, it worked perfectly. That.
I think it would look. I think it would look really good on ourselves.
Absolutely. So it's exciting to hear that you're potentially going to be sticking around the tag division, and obviously you mentioned that you've been able to face Malachi Black and stuff, but in terms of the tag run as well, like, you guys have gone up against the Bucks, the Hardys, Rock and Roll Express, FTR, and even Moxley and Danielson as well. So not to put you on the spot, but who's been your favorite of those, of that stellar list of teams that you've faced so far?
Well, I think the question, I don't know if you guys have listened to any of my other interviews, but I think the question is, you need to ask who's second, man, because FTR is always going to be first.
That's right.
They're my favorite opponents. They're my favorite guys in the locker room, other than the Vlog crew, of course. But I think second would have to be probably Danielson and Moxley, just because, of who they are, and the Hardys. I don't know. They were all good. We wrestled the Hardys. It was me and Marcus against the Hardys. So I think that's kind of different, as opposed to like wrestling with Bryan on AEW television, because I enjoyed the Hardys match too with Marcus. But I think Mox and Danielson was big for us too, because we got to the back and everybody said everything was good, everything was crisp, everybody liked working with us. And to be able to, be on, like I said, kind of with the Malachi thing, to be on primetime television with those guys, I went to WrestleMania 30 when Bryan won the titles against Orton and Batista. And so I was up there in the nosebleeds watching him do the yes as the confetti fell. And I was like, that's going to be me one day. And I feel like I'm making my strides, making my way there, because I just wrestled him on national TV, not 10 years later. So, I think that match meant a lot to me as well. The Bucks are amazing. Everybody craps on the Bucks, and I really don't know why. It's just they're such good workers, and they're very particular about how they put stuff together. So much credit to them, much credit to the FTR, the Hardys, Mox and Danielson. They're all great talents and great people. So it's hard to choose a favorite other than, FTR, but FTR will always be number one. So.
Yeah, not surprised. Hell of a list. So yeah,
it certainly is. Well, speaking of lists, obviously, last time we spoke to you, you listed a few sort of dream opponents who you'd hope to face, featuring such names as Christopher Daniels and Chris Jericho. And obviously, they did come to fruition. One of the other names you mentioned was Cody Rhodes. So first, I'd just like to ask you, did you ever get a chance to face Cody?
No, never got a chance to face Cody, but he's doing his thing. That's what he wants to do. You can't bash a man for doing that. And who knows, maybe I will see him one day in the ring. And it could still happen. I never thought that 14-year-old kid that was at WrestleMania 30. That kid never really thought he was going to wrestle Bryan Danielson a decade later. What could happen in another decade, another 10 years? Anything can happen. That's what I've learned. That's one of the main things I've learned. I've only been in this business for about six years now. That's one of the main things I've learned in this business. Anything can happen. And so I'm just sitting here waiting for just exactly that. Anything can happen.
Yeah. Well, as you say, like in the space of a decade, you get to sort of have that surreal moment of going toe to toe with the man you've watched at that such a big moment as well for him. That's it's incredible. So like you say, anything can happen.
Right.
Absolutely. I mean, it's been a hell of a 12, 18 months since we last spoke to you anyway. As we said, the list of people you faced and things like that. And I think when we had you on the show last time, you'd just come off that match with MJF. We were speaking, it was kind of like a throwback to like Cena and Angle and things like that. It was got you a lot of attention at the time, and kind of really catapulted you. And obviously you've had a hell of a kind of 18 months since. So just wondering off the back of that, you only kind of really worked with MJF briefly, and we know the stuff going on, speculation, futures and things like that. But are you able to comment on what he's like backstage? Is this kind of a thing that says he kind of stays in character his whole time? Did you get to kind of speak with him like one-on-one and kind of work through the match together, or was he kind of a very private guy to himself?
I mean, he would no. He's when it comes to being a professional wrestler, he is a professional wrestler. He's a professional first. So no, he wasn't in that regard. He wasn't private. No, I mean we talked through it. We did our thing. We did what we were supposed to do. We went out there. We handled our business. Came to the back, and he was great. The whole thing about him staying in character, yeah, I mean he does, but I don't think it's him trying to be a dick. I think it's him just trying to get himself psyched up because just about every week he's got a big promo or a big match and stuff. But no, I mean he's always, like I've said in past interviews before, he's always been nice to me. I don't. Granted, I don't know why he sees something in me. I don't know, but I'm not gonna hate on a man for just getting in the zone and getting game time ready. So. No, props to MJF. He's a great talent. He's a great dude. So can't really say much else other than that.
Awesome. Yeah, good to know.
Indeed. So one thing I want to ask you, Jim Ross often refers to you, reminding him of a young Adam Copeland. And obviously, like from our perspective, Adam's an absolute legend, and it's a huge compliment, really. But just wondered if you had much time with JR, and obviously given his tenure in the business, have you been able to sort of get any sort of advice or anything along that line from him?
I haven't spoken to him a whole lot, but the times I have, he's been very brief, and I'm very grateful for his time because he's a very busy guy. He's got a lot of stuff going on. I think the last time he did comment on something was the match I was telling you guys about just a second ago with me and Bryan versus Butcher and Blade on Elevation. He walked past me, and he was already past me, and then all of a sudden I hear, "Make your clothesline stiffer, kid." And I turned around and it was him, and he looked at me. He was like, "Good job. Just lay those clotheslines in more." And I said, "Yes, sir. Absolutely." Anything else? And he said, "Nope, you did good," or whatever. And he just walked away. And, I think it's big though, just because I'm not sure if JR talks and speaks to everybody. So the fact that he, spoke to me was kind of cool. So yeah, props to JR, man. He's a good dude. And
absolutely. Yeah. Just pearls of wisdom like that, being able to just, anything to help you step up your game. And obviously he's clearly a big fan of you himself. Obviously he signed Edge and brought him into WWE. So to make those comparisons with you, then I'm guessing he clearly does see some stuff. And those comparisons are fair as well. Like we comment a lot of time on our show, just saying you can kind of see potentially that bit of career trajectory, obviously in a tag team at the minute, where you're going to go, how's it going to change and stuff. So we're excited to see.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, dude. I've always looked at the Edge too. That was it's funny because I grew up and I always loved John Cena, and my mom was always like a big fan of Edge, and maybe she sees a little bit of me and him too. That's why she liked him so much when I was a kid. Who knows?
Oh, nice.
Yeah, maybe, yeah.
So obviously one thing which hasn't gone unnoticed as well is you are bulking up, man. You've literally, like we've seen in like Instagram and stuff like that. Obviously, you're really getting into the fitness and your workout regime and spending a lot of time in the gym. So just kind of wanted to ask, why did you decide to add the size and kind of work so hard on your physique?
Well, I don't know if I've ever told this story before, so this might be a little bit of an exclusive. I'd already been to AEW. I'd already done a few matches, and I think at this point I have already been. What month are we in? We're in July, right?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So at this point, I had already been teaming with Bryan for a little bit, and I can't remember what match it was or when it was, but I just remember a match. Afterwards, we came back, and it was like one of those nights when we were in Jacksonville, and it was like really cold, and it was like 1 a.m. and we were filming all those dark matches after Dynamite and stuff. And Cody pulled me aside, and he said, "Hey, are you bulking right now?" And he was like, and this is not to bash Cody. Cody's a great dude. I'm glad he said this to me. He said, "Are you bulking right now?" And I said, "No. Like, I guess I'm trying." And he's like, "You're getting a little bit of love handles on you." And I just immediately took that to heart, and I didn't see that. And ever since he said that, I'm like, okay, he said something I need to get in check. Because he was like, "Don't take it the wrong way. You're not fat. I promise you're not fat." He was like, you got some love handles there. And I just really took that to heart. And I knew a trainer who was also like a nutritionist. And that was on a Thursday. The next day, Friday, I was texting him, asking him, "Hey, like, I need to get on a meal plan to cut and stuff. Like, I need to be like, can you send me workouts to do?" And on Monday we started a meal plan, a cut diet and a workout regimen. And like, I'll go like a month of cutting, maybe 2 months or 2, and just depends on how it looks. And then a month or 2 of bulking. And I've been doing that ever since Cody has said that to me. And now I think I look better. Hopefully I look better. But yeah, that was the whole thing that really kicked it for me. So, and I'm very, very glad he said that to me, because otherwise I wouldn't have seen it myself. And I'm glad he did, because ever since I've been doing this, like eating and working out more, and actually I wouldn't say working out more, I'd say working out smarter, and right. I think I've progressed, and I think I look better, and I think I come across as bigger in the ring. So yeah, without that, I probably wouldn't have even started this. So I'm very thankful for him that he said that to me.
Wow, no, that's really interesting. Thanks for sharing. It's as we said, similar to kind of JR, just having all these experienced just all that experience around you, just those little pearls of wisdom can really make the difference. So yeah, definitely coming through, man. You can you're jacked. I mean, you're always being jacked anyway, but yeah, like I think we commented on something on Instagram, like we have something you put up, and I was just like, holy hell, Griff is gains. So yeah, we can see, man.
Thank you, man. I appreciate you guys. That means a lot.
So one thing we've noticed as well is you seem to be somewhat of a mainstay on Sammy's vlogs. So we've got to see a lot of fun segments, and a lot of comedic side to your personality, which you don't necessarily get the opportunity to sort of portray in the ring. So I just want to ask, how has it been sort of being involved in the sort of the vlogs and those sort of interactions? And similarly, has the reaction changed since obviously Sammy's moved into a sort of a heel gimmick?
No, nobody's reactions has really changed, I don't think. It's fun though, being able to hang out with those guys, man. We're in a group chat, and it's just like some of the things we talk about is just crazy. Like oh my God, I don't know how many times one of them has been like, "I'm gonna leak this group chat." I don't know. It's just we just make ourselves sound stupid. Like, I don't know. We just talk about the dumbest things, but it's fun just being able to joke around and goof off with those guys, and especially at work when like at that job you're like very tense, very just want to do good, and just like want to always do your best, and it's just always good to have people around, especially like those guys that loosen you up and just relax you a little bit and calm you down. Yeah. But no, those guys are great, man. I love those guys. I think we're actually talking about taking a vlog crew trip and then like make a whole vlog out of it, so that could be coming. Yeah, And then we got Sammy's wedding coming up, dude. It's just a whole shebang.
Yeah.
So like, I think we're all groomsmen too. So it's just going to be that day is going to be crazy. I'm excited.
I can imagine.
That's going to be a fun day. But,
oh yeah.
But yeah, no, they're just great, dude. Like before I went to AEW, man, I haven't really like in wrestling, you don't meet a whole lot of good people, but it just like everybody at AEW is just a really good person. Like it's just a great place to work. It's the best place to work.
Yeah.
So,
do you know what? It's really sort of warming, I suppose is the right word to know that, because obviously what we get to see in the vlogs, it certainly looks like there's almost like a closeness and almost a family feel to it all, and it's nice to know that is sort of a genuine thing that's coming across, you know.
Yeah, no, we don't like it's hard to fake feelings, man, and
yeah, of course,
we just like, and like what you see on the vlog is kind of what you get. Like we don't practice, we don't what is it called? Like we don't rehearse, we just go out, we just do it, we just hit the button and just talk. And so that's literally like you're getting the behind the scenes look at just how we are and how we actually interact with each other. So I think that's cool for like everybody to be able to see that. I think people need more of that too.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, absolutely. You can just tell you guys having the time of your lives with it, you know, just having fun and just being friends.
Yeah, just more of that genuine like camaraderie, man. It's just, and that serotonin spark. I think just more people need more of that. So
yeah,
absolutely.
Definitely.
So one of the most shocking things from the first time we spoke to you that people are still surprised about to this day was obviously when we asked about your gorgeous locks, your glorious locks that you have, which hopefully you might be shaving off soon. But I remember you said when we asked about your hair care tips, you were like, just a 2-in-1 hair and body wash, and people just lose their minds whenever they find that out. They always talk to us about it. So is that still the case? Have you stepped up your hair care regime, or still the same?
Yeah, when I said that, actually, I've actually said that on a couple of interviews in the past, and I've answered a few questions on Twitter about that, and people were getting on to me. So I was like, all right. I actually stepped up. I don't know what it's called, but I don't have 2-in-1 anymore. I don't know the exact name of it, but I have a shampoo bottle and a conditioner bottle. So no more 2-in-1, 2-in-2. But no, all I do really, I just got out of the shower too. And I have an old t-shirt that I'll use. Whenever you use a towel, I've learned that whenever you rub your hair off, it gets frizzy. So I scrunch it. Like I just do this with an old t-shirt, so it avoids getting frizzy. And then when it's damp, I just rub product on my hand and then just curl it right, and then just kind of scrunch it again, and it curls right up. So no more 2-in-1 for me. I'm growing up. I'm becoming an adult.
So similar to, I don't know if you recall last time, but what we tend to do is we'll sort of ask our sort of followers or Reddit or various places that we're around, and we ask if there's any questions they want to put to you. So the next one is sort of one of our follower questions, really, and what they've asked is sort of based around Danhausen's gimmick, in the fact that he incorporates his sort of hobbies of the Simpsons, 80s horror, 90s comedy, that sort of thing. So the question they've asked is, if you were to build a gimmick based around your hobbies and interests, what would that look like?
If I were to build a gimmick around my hobbies and interests, I think that would probably, I don't know if you guys have ever seen the movie Magic Mike, but I feel like that would be something that I would do. He's a stripper, by the way. He's a male stripper. And I feel like I could really be good at that, just because I'm big into TikTok, and I do all the TikTok stuff like that, and I can really shake my butt. So that's if I could build a character around that, I would definitely come to the ring stripping and dancing. So I think that'd be quite funny too.
You heard it here first. Strip Garrison debuts.
Love it.
Good. Yeah, that's awesome. So obviously we got to ask. So we've mentioned who you've worked with, just Jericho, Danielson, Moxley. Who's left? Who else is on your list of people that you just would love to work with that you haven't got the chance to face yet?
That's true. I got that question today, and it was hard because I was like, the last time I was on interviews and stuff like that, and I've gotten these questions, I was like, well, shit, I've already wrestled everybody. Let's see. I would Claudio, just because he's a new guy. Claudio. I would love to work Daniel Garcia, because we're boys too. I like him. He's a great dude, man. He's he's one of the funniest guys on the roster too. I would like to work him too, man, because he's really, really talented. Konsuke Takeshita. Is that how you say his name? I'm sorry if I'm wrong, but I think that's how you pronounce his last name, Takeshita. He's very, he's very talented. I would love to work someone that, you know, maybe might have like a language barrier, and just to like, because I've heard like when, like wrestling is its own language, and I've never had to wrestle anybody that doesn't speak my language. But
of course,
everybody's like, no, it's the same. It's the same because wrestling is its own language. You know, you just kind of do like the motions and moves, and they know. So I feel like he would be a great guy to work, because he's just super talented. So I guess Claudia, I'd say Claudia, Daniel, and Takeshita. And I still want to wrestle Chris Daniels one-on-one too. That would be nice.
Yeah, absolutely.
Awesome. So obviously you probably gather from the accent we're from the UK. So one of the questions I want to ask is, have you had the chance to come over to the UK yet? I have not. No, I would love. I would love to. So promoters, if you're watching this and you're in the UK, bring me over. We'll work something out, and I'll put on a good show for you. Trust me. Awesome. But no, I would love to. I've never seen Big Ben. I've always wanted to see Big Ben. I'd say, yeah. I mean, well, there's tons to see in London, well, all over the country really, but London's obviously the main. But there's tons to see there as well. So, right. Yeah, that'd be a definite one for across the pond. But I've only been to France and Spain. I didn't have the luxury of going to the UK or like Germany or anything, but just France and Spain. But yeah. I would love to. Okay, I would love to. Yeah, I mean, there is a significant weather difference. I'll warn you that. Like, super hot or.
Oh no, super cold and rainy all the time. You won't have to worry about shaving your hair because of the heat. Put it that way.
I love it. It's super dark, cold, and rainy. Those are my three favorite adjectives.
Oh, you'll love it. You'll fit right in.
So, have you sort of got an idea of the UK fans? Have you heard anything about the UK fans when it comes to wrestling? Or,
I mean, no. I know they. I've heard they like. I've heard they sing and like chant while they sing. Like, is that I mean, true?
With most sports, we love a good chant, and we'd love to make up songs as well. To be fair, I think football or soccer, as you'll know it, is probably the most synonymous for that, isn't it? Really, Cal?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, you've probably heard of like, soccer hooligans or football hooligans. So it's not quite the hooligan aspect, but it's rowdy. Fans over here absolutely love it. They're up for it.
And I think although we have a pretty good sort of indie wrestling scene, but when it comes to like when you get like the likes of AEW or WWE level stuff, they're so few and far between that I think there's a lot more hype and a lot more excitement there because it's just less regular than obviously the US. Right. No, I think that would be sweet. If I ever came over there and like they started chanting and singing, I would get hyped. Like that just hypes me up. Like I'd perform so much better. I wish they did that here in America. That'd be sweet. I do think it is I do think it makes for a good atmosphere, a good chance.
Absolutely. I mean, is there a chance that we'll see AEW across the pond at some point? I know Tony mentioned in the past about maybe doing Craven Cottage, for example, which is obviously in Fulham. Has there been any kind of more murmurs around that?
Well, I couldn't say 100% for certain, but I'm sure. Yeah, like 100%. Like he hadn't made an announcement, but I can almost guarantee that will be in the UK, because I think we've talked about doing Canada too and stuff like that. So it would not shock me if we were in the UK soon.
Yeah, hopefully you're there. We can't wait.
That's it. So I mean, lastly for me, it'd just be to ask, what's next for Griff Garrison, or like what are you hoping to sort of achieve, or what do you think's in store for the next 12 months?
Just keep the grind, man. I haven't, ever since I've gotten signed, the grind hasn't stopped. So, if I stay with Bryan, hopefully AEW Tag Team Gold, if Marcus comes in, the same thing, AEW Tag Team Gold. I would love to be, or at least love to get a shot at the TNT title. I think the TNT title is really good on Griff. That would be sweet. But no, man, just keep grinding, keep working out, keep eating. This isn't going to stop. I'm only just going to get bigger. I'm only, I'm only going to get better. I'm only going to keep progressing in this sport. So, and I hope people take notice of that. And I hope people, get behind me. And I hope people, understand who the fuck Griff Garrison is,
Absolutely. Well, you've definitely got two fans for life in us. But again, thank you so much, man, for taking the time and, coming back on the show. And we're always following you. We've always got your back, and we can't wait to see you. We know you're going to go on to do, I mean, look at the last 18 months. So we just know that, there's even more exciting things still to come. But thank you very much, Griff Garrison, for being on the show.
Thank you, man. Thank you guys for having me.
This is Griff Garrison, and you're listening to A to the K.
A to the K. A to the K.